What is up, guys? Happy Sunday. We just finished the tell-all of Before the 90 Days, the part 2 of the tell-all. We're gonna get into this. This one really got my blood boiling. I'm kind of mad. I was yelling at the TV. I had the strong urge to throw things at the TV. So, hey, Shelly. Yeah, this part of the tell-all, it really got my blood boiling. Kara is gonna come in here so we can break this down. Hey, Jal. Hi, Jaleb. Hi, Heidi. Oh, the doctor from The Last Resort. We're going to be watching. I was really bothered by a lot of the behavior, but more so a lot of the allowed behavior, so we're going to get into that too. Kara, how are you? So tonight's episode, I was screaming, right? I was screaming at the top of my lungs. I was angry. My blood was boiling, and I'm pissed off, right? Like I don't like to call people out, but Sean Robinson is the host of this show, right? Like, I feel like it's her responsibility to create a method out of the madness. And I felt as though, hey, TJ, hey, Gigi, hi, Jonah. I just felt as though she was allowing and condoning toxic behavior.
Yep.
And I felt as though the way that Adnan was acting, somebody needed to say, hey, this is an open discussion. Everybody here has an opinion. Your opinion is not the only opinion here. You have to let other people talk. Because during Niles' segments, Niles couldn't even have a conversation with Matilda or with Mr. Ark or with Sean without being interrupted. And nobody stood up. Right. And I think nobody said, hey, you're being disrespectful. You're being out of line. People did come for Niles.
Yep.
And they said, oh, well, you shouldn't blow up on him. You would be wrong. It's like, but why isn't he wrong?
Right.
And it was really confusing for me. And I'm like watching it. I'm trying to understand why nobody will tell this guy to shut up. I'm so lost.
I told him to shut up 300 times, but he didn't hear me.
I mean, I understand that everybody, like, the tell-all is supposed to be an entertaining thing for us. Everybody is told backstage, if you feel strongly about something, you should voice your opinion. That's why we have 4 parts, right? It's supposed to be, it's drama. But I don't agree with bullying people and picking a person who is suffering from autism and bullying and tormenting them. Because I almost took it, I want to say it went past bullying to the point of he was tormenting him.
Absolutely.
And the fact that everybody on the cast, I'm calling out everybody, nobody thought that they needed to step in to defend him. Okay, Jal, I want to talk about that. So Jal says, this is why the chicken lady wasn't allowed. She would have fought Adnan. I was literally just having this conversation while the show was starting on Twitter. I was like, I feel like Renee would have gotten up and physically attacked him. Because one thing about Renee, she's unhinged, she's insane, she's pretty much crazy. And I feel like she would have been the match we needed. You know how Angela, we were like, Angela's match would probably be Jasmine. Like, you need to meet your match. So I think that Renee would have been Adnan's match. And I think the cast that we have now, there's no match for him. Nobody was going to stand up to him. And he was able to dominate the tell-all and dominate the conversation.
I mean, Vanya did stand up a couple of times, tried to shut him down a couple of times. Vea said something, but Vea wasn't there in person.
Well,
right. These men that are there, they're all a bunch of chicken shits. Niles is the only one that tried to stand his ground. Everybody, even when they went backstage to eat, and dumb shit's like, oh, I want to sit here, I want to sit here. And then dumb shit said, oh, we haven't said anything bad. Have you heard me or Joey say anything bad? Like, they were all kissing his ass.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
I noticed that Joey and Lauren are like, oh, well, we have your back. I'm like, why would you have his back?
Yeah.
And it's like, I understand why Lauren would try to befriend anyone because Lauren has 0 friends in this equation.
Yeah.
No one is Team Lauren at this point. But, I don't condone bad behavior. I don't condone, hey, Donna, bullying and tormenting. And I just felt, okay, so Jaleb, you're right. We needed Angela today. Is it weird that we actually have to say that? We needed Angela today
no,
because Angela would have.
What we needed was me and you to be there in the audience or on the stage, or we're fine without Angela. Let's just erase that from our vocabulary.
I just needed someone to just stand up to him. He had free reign, and he knew that no one was going to stop him. Sean, it's almost like Sean wasn't there.
Literally.
She was trying to conduct Niles's segment, going between Niles, Matilda, and Mr. Ark, and she couldn't even get her questions in because Adnan was just taking over the whole. And I'm like, is anybody gonna say, hey, bro, shut up? This is not about you. This is not your segment. Your opinion. And he kept saying, do you respect my relationship? Do you like my relationship? And I was confused by that. And it might be a cultural thing, because I know in some cultures, you need your parents' permission. You need a blessing from people. In America, we kind of just do what we want. And if people like it, they like it. And if they don't, we'll block them and we don't talk to them. Yeah. We don't go and force people to be supportive of what we're doing. It's nice if somebody wants to support what you're doing. But here in this country, we look at it as, you can go have 5 wives. I don't agree with that. I hope we don't ever
see him again once this is over. I hope he just falls off the face of the earth.
So I wanted to talk about that because, wait, what did Donna say? He's 22. Yeah, he's only 22. So I hate to say this. It's not going to be great news for everyone, but he and Ty Lily have already filmed another season.
I know.
So they're going to be back. I don't want to say what season it is, but I think y'all can figure it out. So when 90 Day Fiance, the OG season airs, which is coming next, it's the one that airs after that. And I think you all know what that is. They all go in the same order every year. So they're going to be on that. And, it's a one where it's the ever after, what happens after. So they've already filmed it. They're finishing and wrapping up the scene. So we're stuck with this. And it makes me realize that they gave him free reign to act crazy at this tell-all on purpose.
Yeah.
Because they know that his story is going to continue and they want us to be angry with him. Yeah. So we're going to tune in to Happily Ever After to watch the nonsense that he's bringing to Happily Ever After. And it really makes you wonder what's going on, because remember, we've had this conversation about TLC and the shows and abuse and bullying and just spousal back and forth, and it's making you wonder, do they think that's what we want to see? Do they think we want to see people being controlled and told when they can and can't speak and what they can and can't wear? Because that's not what the show has always been about.
No, but
this is a new...
I think that when Angela, she's always been unhinged, but when she went off the deep end and their ratings soared for that very small time, everybody was like, oh shit, look at her go, kind of thing. They were like, oh, yeah, that's what the people want. So they brought more and they brought more. And then the worse it got, the better the ratings got, because everybody was talking about it. And then, so now they're encouraging it. And then
I like drama, but okay, so for instance, I'll put this out there as well. Sarper and Shekinah will also be on Happily Ever After, right? And, we didn't see it physically, but we heard about on the season where he ripped her hair out of her head. Yep. And now they're going to be featured on it. So it's almost like the worse off that you are, the more disrespectful and abusive you are, the more likely that your career will continue.
Yeah.
When it comes to these shows. And that's what's scary, because I like watching drama and I like watching craziness. Angela was fun at times, right? She was fun at times.
In the beginning.
Yeah, when I don't want to think that Tiger Lily might be being abused, right? I don't want to think that Shekinah might be being abused. I don't like them, but I also don't want to be a supporter of that type of behavior. Me watching them on a show, if that's what's happening to them, I'm indirectly supporting that behavior. I don't even want to indirectly support that. I want to watch craziness and ignorance on TV. I don't want anybody to be in danger, hurt, disrespected, or have literally their rights taken away. I feel like Tiger Lily is setting women's rights back 100 years at this point. We're going back so far, it's almost to the point where women can't vote anymore.
As much as I hate to say it, and I actually can't believe I'm going to say it out loud, but when I think of the drama that just really sucks you in, is the shit like Paul and Karini. That was so...
Oh my gosh, I remember.
It was so over the top. It was so absurd that you couldn't help but watch. But as much as disgusting of a human as that guy is, you had to watch. You had to see what was going to happen next, because it was almost unbelievable that it was real. But now we're to a point where we're like, I can't believe they're airing this shit.
Well, yeah, we're getting past the shock value. Yeah. It's now becoming a pattern. It's now becoming a requirement. Like if you're just a couple, but one isn't controlling of the other, it's almost like they're not interested.
Yeah.
And, it used to be every now and then we came across a Paul, we came across a Sarper, we came across an Angela. They just happened, because Angela wasn't always, she gradually got worse and worse, right? Like she was always outspoken and a little unhinged, like you said, but each season it excelled into something more.
Yeah.
And then the Angela that we recently got at that tell-all, where they had to literally hide the balls from the pool table.
Yeah.
That was a very advanced version of Angela. That's not how she started out.
No.
These cast members now are starting out at the crazy level.
Exactly.
And it's like, how far can we go if they're already, he basically said last week that he hits her.
Yeah.
Like how worse can it get? We're already at the top of, I don't know. I just feel like we need to be very careful, because a lot of times on these TV shows, we are on a fine line that we're treading of violence. Because you know how we've watched reality shows and we see people, and then, like, for instance, on Vanderpump Rules, one of the couples on that show, he got arrested for domestic violence. He was fighting this woman. And it's like, we watch the behavior, and it's like we're watching it turn into, this is where we're going.
Yeah, exactly. It's disgusting. I mean, it's
Nicole and Mahmoud. Remember Nicole and Mahmoud? There's a domestic violence issue there, and it's like we're watching it boil into that. I don't want to be of support of watching people get hurt for my entertainment, and I feel like that's kind of the direction we're going. We're watching these situations brew into something violent, and that's scary. I don't want to be a part of people getting hurt. I want to be entertained, but if I want to watch people get hurt, I will watch the MMA. Okay, absolutely. I would turn it into the MMA and watch people punch each other, because that would be that type of entertainment I was looking for. I'm not looking to watch a man hit a woman on my reality show. That's not what I'm looking for.
Well, and I was really excited about this season because it was all new people. It wasn't the repeats, blah blah blah. I was like, it can't be any worse than what we've been seeing over and over and over again with Gino and Jasmine and Rob and Sophie, and the repeat. I was like, okay, it's going to be new people. It's going to be good. But tonight I was sitting there and I was watching everything, and I'm like, okay, so Vanya, I love her. She's great. She's a beautiful human. She's just a good woman. But then she's got this jackass that was never really in it for anything. And again, we're watching before the 90 days, where we're waiting for these proposals. So we start with this jackass that's a total liar and a catfish. And in the same vacation, she ends up with someone else. Okay. Then we find out he comes here. Then we find out that he secretly videotapes her while they're having sex. So already these two guys, screw them. There's no point in having these guys on the show. Right. I get that we Anya for the single life. I get it. She's going to be great. But then we throw in Niles and Matilda, this guy who was forced into marrying this woman in a different country, who is autistic and getting bullied. Then we have someone who is totally obsessed with his own STDs, that all he can do is keep announcing it. Like, did he propose? Yeah. Did she accept? Yeah. Did they break up before the season? Yeah. We're done with him. Get him off the damn screen. Then we have alcoholic Joey, who almost missed his flight so that he could go back and get his shots, so he didn't have to pay $12. She comes to America, sees him, and then he still says he doesn't want to propose. So before the 90 days, he didn't propose. But then we get to Adnan and dumb shit, and they got married day one, and now here we are. They've already had a baby. Let's move on. Like, what is going? And then we've got Brian. Yuck, and yuck. Like, these people, this season there was literally no love story. No love. Niles, I believe Niles loves her, but
I think you're onto something. We used to, because there's a lot of success stories from the 90-day universe, And now, if you look back at the like last 3 or 4 seasons, there's like 2 or 3 couples that actually don't want to hurt each other physically, right? They that get along, and I think you're right. We're getting the most chaotic couples and crazy people instead of actual people that might actually work. Because you're right, Joey and Magda. The whole purpose of this show is called 90 Day Fiance. It's for people that are engaged or getting married that are on a K-1 visa or spousal visa. He's not interested in even getting engaged. So, because I kept saying, I was like, how did he manage to get on the show? Does his dad work at Sharp? Like, I'm trying to understand why we're watching it. Why are they at the tell-on? Why were they on the season? He has no interest in getting engaged, which means that he can't move forward on any show, any spinoff, because in order to be on The Other Way, he would have to move to Poland. In order to be on 90 Day Fiance, she would have to be on a K-1 visa. He's not interested in anything that the show is about, yet we have them on a whole season. And then they kind of made their story a spotlight story, which I was confused at because it was literally like watching paint dry. And like even when they were talking and she's like, "Are you guys engaged?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I could care less." Like, why are we even talking about it? I don't care. Literally nothing happened. It was a complete waste of time. This is the time when I would go refill my drink or fast forward. Like, I don't care. Literally nothing that they've said from start to finish has progressed in any way. Well, Photomom says bottom of the barrel. I do feel like that. I feel like they went from Danielle and Muhammad, which was one person super in love with the other person and the other person is using them, to 2 people that are opportunists who want to be famous. And I stand by it. This started with Jabri and Miona, and it's progressed. And I think there's one other couple before them, and I always forget them. And it started progressing into influencers. And that's how we ended up with Rob and Sophie, 2 people that want to be influencers who were like, hey, we could go on this TV show, and this TV show boosts you to stardom really fast. You only have to do a season or 2, and then boom, you're a household name. You can go on your OnlyFans and start selling coochie pics. Like, and they just take the show and they use it, and there's no actual substance to the show. And I blame production and casting, because production and casting knows who they're getting in bed with. When they cast you, they know if you're actually in it because you want to be on the show and you want to showcase your story, or you just want to be famous. They're fully aware. Tiger Lily and Adnan want to be famous. It's not, they couldn't have fooled anybody. Nobody, no producer or casting agent were like, oh yeah, let's interview these 2. I think that they want to be on the show to tell their story. They could care less about telling their story. They both think that they're going to be the next big reality stars and they're going to be the biggest people in the world. Yes, Donna, coochie pics. That's what they're selling. And it's like, they make it seem like this is such a huge deal to be a huge reality star, and then you just go buy $5 coochie pics. You know, and Danielle started it, and then Johan. They're a coochie pic family. He's selling dick pics. He's selling coochie pics. That's literally the direction that they're going. Hey, Pineapple.
Yeah, it's disgusting. I mean, okay, so Joey and Magda are, I mean, he hasn't even said her name right one time through the entire season. So tell me how in love they are. You don't even know her freaking name. Then we've got Lauren. What are we getting out of Lauren? The only thing we got out of Lauren is Faith. Faith is great.
I like her. Yeah.
But here we are with nothing again. And then we have Brian with nothing again. None of these people have anything.
No. See, it's funny because they used to do a good job of getting people that could transition to another show. Like, remember, Jovi and Yara started on Before the 90 Days, then they went straight to 90 Day Fiance, then they went straight to Happily Ever After. Like, they used to get people that could transition from show to show. We're getting people that are only there for the moment. Their story is crazy, but they don't even get along. Like you said, they don't even know each other's name. Like, they could never progress to another show. Oh, so we did learn that Niles is so the process for Niles to get Matilda here is $8,000. He's halfway there, and it's been what, 8 or 9 months since he's been there. I mean, I think he's doing pretty good. Not a lot of some people. Hey, Dion, everybody can't actually save $4,000 because you know the world we live in now. It's difficult to save anything. You're lucky if you have anything left. So he is halfway there, but I'm really worried about, you know, him getting her here because I think that she's going to expect a certain type of lifestyle. And I think that Niles is in over his head. And the way that he has been calling Mr. Ark dad, and he has made no no real leadway with getting his parents on
But
board. I'm really worried
also,
about him.
I mean, not only does he have $4,000 saved, but he did also pay off Mr. Ark. So that's pretty
Yeah,
impressive. But
I was very impressed. You're right, because
but I
remember David, when
heard,
David and Annie got married, he had the water buffalo, and he owed all this money, and he had to pay them over payments.
yep,
And it took him a while, like over a year, to pay them off. And then after that, he owed his. Remember, he had a best friend,
yeah,
and he was like wrenching from the best friend. He owed the best friend all this money. David paid all those people back.
yeah.
So
And they
I
had
respect the people.
stop, and Annie was unhappy, and now they have a beautiful home, and
So
she's pregnant. They're doing so good. But with
yeah,
Niles, my concern is, let's say that he has the $4,000 now, the additional 4,000.
okay.
Then what? Then what? So we just.
I mean, well,
Does he realize that he doesn't just pay the money and then she hops on a plane? That's just for the paperwork. Like, that's not even an approval yet. Don't even know she'll be approved.
yeah, I think he's in over his head, and I wish that he had more support,
Yeah.
more people who could go through the process with him. I just feel like he's, I guess, naive is the best way to put it. I think that he's like, oh, I just have to pay this money and everything will be fine. I'll be able to do all of the things that I'm trying to do if I just come up with this amount of money. It's way more complicated than that.
It is.
But he is doing really good. Like you said, he's paid off the money that he borrowed. He's halfway there to the visa. He's working harder than a lot of other cast members would have.
Yeah.
Right? Let's be real. A lot of other cast members, they wouldn't even be that close. So he is doing it. I worry about him, and I worry about his temper, because the way that he was dealing with Adnan, okay, first off, I don't blame him. I would have reacted the same way.
Yeah.
Actually, I probably would have hit him. I'm just gonna be real.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be real. I probably would have hit him. The way that he was so disrespectful, and he's just like, I'm speaking to you, answer me, I'm speaking. It's like this type of behavior. And I think that's what got under my skin, was nobody was like, hey, this is an autistic person, right?
Yeah.
Like I would definitely appreciate if you spoke to him with a little more understanding and respect. But nobody felt that they wanted to say anything else. And I kind of was holding Sean responsible, because as the host, I think it's her responsibility to keep people in line, and to make sure that make sure that everybody has a equal opportunity to speak and express themselves. And I feel like she didn't do that. She wasn't doing her job, and Niles was being tormented. And I mean, not just Niles, everybody. Nobody was ever allowed to have an opinion unless Adnan liked it. Exactly. And that's an issue, like that's an issue. I think that everyone is entitled to how they feel. And as a host, she needs to make sure that everybody has a safe space to speak on their personal conviction. Adnan was saying that Vea and Sunny can't be together because she's not a Muslim, or she's an atheist. He thinks she's an atheist, is what he was saying. Like, oh, she doesn't believe in God, so y'all can't be together. And I was like, well, see, that's between the two of them.
Right.
And you can't really tell people what they can and can't do. You can tell your wife what you can and can't do, because she'll listen to you. But also, in my opinion,
it was so hypocritical, because Tiger Lily didn't convert. So why does it matter if Sunny and Vea do? And then he kept saying how Vea cheated, and Vea did not cheat. She saw someone else while they were broken up. He literally kept inserting his bullshit opinion and his misunderstandings everywhere else, and trying to stir the pot for everyone. And it's just disgusting. Just like Brian, that comment that he made about Ingrid having 2 kids by 2 different men. So what? Oh. You've been married 4 times and engaged 3 more times. What the hell's the difference?
Well, that annoyed me. And his daughter, Brianna, she was on the show, and she made a comment that really pissed me off too, where she was like, what you saying you don't know how old he is, that's a little strange, because you said that this was a real relationship and a real connection. I was like, she didn't know because he lied.
Literally.
Because she's like, well, if you knew him well enough, you would know how old he is. I was like, you only know what people tell you. You could know somebody for 10 years. How many times have we watched Dateline, and there's this innocent wife on the show? She's married to her husband for like 10 years. thanks, Heidi. She's married to her husband for like 10 years, and they're interviewing her for something horrible that he did. She didn't know.
Yeah,
And
he's
you
got
know,
a whole other family and 15 other kids that he
yeah.
just goes to on the weekend. Yeah.
And the daughter's like, well, I don't know. That's just weird. If you really love my dad, you would know how old he was. I was like, if your dad really was a decent person, he would have told her how old he was. You know, people only know the information that you give them, right? Like, it's not her job to go and do a background check on him to figure out how old he is. Your dad should just tell people how old he is. He shouldn't lie. So I didn't like how she was condoning his behavior. And I get it. That's your dad. You want to stand up for your dad. But in my opinion, when people are wrong, they're wrong. You could be anybody.
Yep.
I'm just going to say you're wrong. You're a liar. Stop trying to hold this woman accountable for not figuring out your lies.
Exactly.
Right? Like, it's not her responsibility to figure out your lies. It's your responsibility to tell the truth. Oh, Pineapple. Adnan, I think, is 23 now. Yeah. He was 22 when the show started. He's 23. It's funny because there was a video, it's floating around Reddit, of him on TikTok, like when he was like 16 or 17, and he had a full head of hair, like really long hair, and dancing. He looks so different now. Like, right? Like, it looks like he aged 10 years in those 3 years. Yeah. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on with that. Why does he look so different? And everyone's like, oh, when you're such a dickhead, it ages you. Yeah. But I'm like, it doesn't look like the same person. Well, I mean, it looks like the same person, but it looks like the amount of time between the video and now is way longer than it is. So some people are speculating. They think that he's lying about his age. I don't know.
But also, Pineapple's right. Tiger Lily is literally twice his age. Almost exactly.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Well, he also tried to say that Niles is a sugar daddy for Matilda when he was sitting directly next to his sugar mama.
Literally.
When he said the statement. I was like, this guy, it's like he's always trying to cast judgment on everybody, and half the stuff that he's judging people on is stuff that he's doing already. And, you know, my biggest pet peeve in the world is a hypocrite.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, I was raised in the religious cause. It's old news, but the one thing I hate about the cult was everybody that was a part of it, higher up in it, could do anything they wanted. But if the lower end cult members did something that was wrong, we were terrible, we were sinners, we were liars, we were going straight to hell. And that hypocrite aspect is what bothers me. Because he's like, well, I can do whatever I want, but you can't. Because he's telling Sonny, like, you can't marry her, she's not a Muslim. And everyone's like, well, you married Tiger Lily, she's not a Muslim. Like, you can't be a hypocrite. Right? Yeah, like, you can.
And then also a comment that he made about Vea and Sonny having sex before marriage. And he's like, well, I didn't have sex with my wife before marriage. No, because you married her when she got off the freaking plane.
Well, yeah, there was absolutely no time to make that happen. Nope. They literally got married the day she arrived. There was literally no time to make that happen. Trust me, I believe that they would have had sex before marriage if there was more than a week or two in between.
Yep.
He just probably wouldn't have let them film it.
Yeah.
No, I blame Sonny too. Sonny should have told them, you know, get the cameras out. This isn't something I want to advertise. You know, because it is against his religion. I mean, it's not my religion, but it's bad that he advertised it because, you know, now he has no relationship with his dad because of these events. I would have told them, you know, get the cameras out of here. Give us some privacy. That's not something I want the whole world to know.
But you know what? Like I said before, I think I said it last week. Sonny and his dad wasn't even in his life. So he's the last damn person I would be worried about appeasing. You bailed on me once, you're going to bail on me again. See you later. I don't need shit people in my life like you. You know, I'm sorry. I realize that he's trying to build a relationship with his dad, but for crying out loud, if your dad can't be there, you know, for the most important times of your life, he should be the last person you're seeking approval from as an adult. You weren't there to try to raise me. You weren't there to try to teach me right from wrong. You weren't there. So your opinion is invalid. Also, you don't even know how to pluck your fucking eyebrows. So get out.
Also, there was a comment that Tiger Lily mostly Tiger Lily made about Ingrid's clothes. She was like, you were wearing lingerie, so that means that you wanted to have sex. And the one thing that I definitely don't agree with is saying, based on how a woman is dressed, that determines how far she's willing to go sexually with someone. That shit irritated me because I was like, okay, so she's not allowed to wear lingerie because that means she has to go all the way, right? Like when did we get to the point where a woman, how she's dressed is based on how sexual she's willing to be with the person that she's
But
with?
also, it's not like that's lingerie she brought for the occasion. It's lingerie he bought her. So she put it on to appease him, make him feel good, make him feel like she appreciated the gift. That doesn't mean she
Right.
has, like, here, this is what you bought me. It's like putting on a bikini. This is what you bought me.
If
And enjoy how
it
it
was, yeah,
looks. That's a wrap.
if it was a dress, she would have wore the dress and they could have went on a date. If it was a purse, she would have carried the purse. If it was a pair of shoes,
Yep.
you wear the shoes. That doesn't mean that you have to have sex with the person because they gave it to you. So when she made that comment, I was like, see, that's putting women and their rights and their consent back 100 years.
Yep.
Women, you can be married. And if your husband wants to have sex and you don't want to have sex, you don't have to have sex with him. He's your husband.
Yep.
Because this is your right to consent, even to your husband. Because a lot of people think, oh, well, you're married. You don't have the right. Yes, you do. If you don't feel like having sex, you can say no. This can be your husband, your fiance, your boyfriend. It doesn't matter who it is. And if they could have taken you to a nice dinner, they could have bought you lingerie. It doesn't matter. If you don't want to, don't do it. And it's like, I don't like how they were like, oh, well, if you didn't want to have sex, you shouldn't have dressed that way. You know, I think we're setting ourselves back if we think that we can blame a woman being pressured into sex and say, oh, it's her fault because what she's wearing. I think we're setting ourselves back years and years and years. That's the Me Too movement has taught us, if anything, that consent is the most important thing, regardless of the situation, who the person is, the power they have, what they're wearing. Consent is the most important thing. If you don't give your consent, then it's not consensual. And I think Tiger Lily, but again, I think that Tiger Lily, her thoughts and beliefs on women and how they should behave. Did you see the stories that she posted this week where she said that women should be quiet, they should be submissive, they should respect their husbands? And she said a more feminine woman is a more quiet woman. Like, you don't speak up. Like, did you see the stuff that she was posting? It's really irritating for me because, you know, women fought for a long time to be treated equally and to have rights and to be able to express themselves and show when they're interested and when they're not. And I feel like she's going backwards in every possible way.
I can't even take her seriously. She's sitting there wearing a damn bed sheet. Looks like she got her necklace stuck over her head. She's got hair extensions, and she sounds like a dog squeaky toy when she talks. I can't take this woman seriously. Also, she squished herself so far down on this couch that she looks like she's 2 feet tall, sitting next to her, you know, full-grown son. It's disgusting. I just can't.
So Captain Picard reminded me on Twitter tonight that Tiger Lily has an autistic son. And it was really interesting because I forgot that main aspect of the story because she was very harsh on Niles. Remember, she posted a week or two ago that she doesn't even believe Niles is on the spectrum. She thinks he's faking. So for a mother who knows firsthand what it's like to have a child with autism and know how difficult, you know, living with autism can be, to call him a faker and a liar, I don't know. The things that she does
how do
are
we
really
know her
crazy.
son's really autistic?
I mean, how do we know she really has a son?
That's true.
Like, I have so many questions because I don't know. Like, she doesn't. I know she says she has 2 kids. I know she was getting child support for the kids or whatever, but having kids and being a mom are 2 different things, right? Like, I feel like she definitely has kids, but is she a mom? I don't know that. I don't see her as a mom. I see her as, right. And again, I don't
like fitting a car seat in her Lamborghini. Like, come on. Are you even a mom?
Well, I don't like to come after women when it comes to being moms and how they raise their kids. I feel like that's below the belt. I feel like you keep it above the belt when you're coming for people. But she does and says things that make me question, you know, like, what kind of mom are you?
Does things that make me want to wrap the belt around her freaking neck.
So tonight, what's his name? Brian said that Ingrid had a boyfriend and she denied it. So what's going on? Because I'm really confused by that. what type of game is Brian playing? Because it kind of seems like Brian, remember when the show first started, he was like, I'm here to tell my side. And I think a lot of people will be surprised at how not innocent Ingrid is. Like, I think his purpose was to launch a smear campaign on Ingrid, because I think he got a lot of backlash when his episodes aired, and I think, you know, we came after him, right? He did some stuff that we didn't like, and tonight he was like, oh, she told me she had a boyfriend, and she also was saying all these, he was coming for it, and the two baby daddy thing, I was like, you can't really be judging her for having two different baby daddies when you've had 4 different wives.
Yep.
Right? Like, I feel like that's a bit much for me. I was like, 4 different wives, and then like what, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 engagements that are all failed. And, you know, I think judging a woman based on how many babies' fathers she has, and no offense, you know, I watch a lot of shows, and having 2 baby daddies isn't that bad. I've seen people on shows that have 4, 5, and 6.
Yep.
Right? So, I mean, in my opinion, she could have been married to a guy, found out he was a piece of crap, and then left him, and then had another kid with another guy. That doesn't make her any less of a woman or any less valuable as a person. Because I feel like
that have 2 baby daddies. I know a lot of people that have 2 baby daddies. They're great women. Also, most of their baby daddies are in jail. So there's a reason.
You know? See, I mean, in my opinion, it's a double standard too, because if we see a woman and she's in a relationship with a guy and we're like, oh, she should leave him. You know, he's abusive, he's a loser, he's not working, he's a bum. But at the same time, if a woman does leave the guy and then finds another guy who's better, people will degrade her for having more than 1 baby daddy. And it's like, well, pick one. Should she have stayed with the idiot and been in a bad situation and just had 1 baby daddy, or should she leave the idiot and try to find somebody better? Because you're going to judge her either way, right?
But, you know, it's crazy that we look at it, that society looks at it that way now. Because, I mean, how many people do you know that have, like, half sisters or half brothers or step siblings? Like, that's how that happens.
Several.
Yeah,
I have several. You know, my dad has started many new families. I have several. Yeah.
Right. But it's okay. You know, we don't look at it weird unless it's someone else attacking someone. Oh, she's got 2 baby daddies. Big deal. My mom was married and then divorced. And my mom had a child with that in the beginning. Then my mom met my dad and married and had me. And my parents were married for a bajillion years. So my mom had, you know, 2 baby daddies. Didn't make her any less of a person.
Of course not. Like, I don't know. I felt like he was there to try to make her look bad. And I feel like that was his goal. Because remember, there was a video that surfaced while their season was still airing where he called her a prostitute.
Yep.
He said that she was a prostitute. And I was like, well, I wouldn't really judge her if she was. I would judge you, because that means that you're going over there and hooking up with prostitutes. You're part of the problem.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because, I mean, I don't knock her for what she's doing. I knock you because if you knew and you were hiring her for her services, are you like complaining about her services now? It was okay then. You know, like she was totally okay that she was a prostitute then.
He's just a disgusting, vile human. Like, he's just disgusting.
The comment of the night goes to George. My father has started many. He's like on his 4th wife, guys. Like, yeah, so that's why it's funny, because people think that I'm judgmental. If I'm saying something that sounds judgmental, I've probably lived through it.
Right.
Like, when people ask about my family story, it is true. I have to think, do I tell them the Disney version or the Jerry Springer version? Because I've lived through both, okay? Yeah. So don't think that I'm just sitting up here judging people. I've been through it. There's people in my family who have 3 baby daddies. Yeah. Right? So, like, I don't judge anybody. I've lived it. I know exactly what it's like. Like I said, I have half siblings. My dad just started whenever something didn't work out, he just started a new family.
Yep.
So don't think I'm judging nobody. I've been through it. I am no better than anybody else.
Okay, look at Nick Cannon.
Oh yeah, doesn't he have like 12 kids or something? By like 12 or 11 different.
12 kids, and he just insured his balls for $12 million.
Oh, is that a thing? I mean, J-Lo insured her ass.
I wish I was joking.
The funny part is J-Lo insured her ass for like that amount, so maybe he could Actually, it's very possible, but nobody judges him the way they would judge a woman if it was vice versa. And I think that's the problem with the world today. We hold women to a higher standard, and it's just not fair. It's just not fair. Women are human, and they make mistakes. And in my opinion, if a woman is with a piece of crap guy, I would rather her leave that guy and find somebody who's going to treat her better and be a good father and good husband than to stay with the same guy just so she can't be called multiple baby daddy lady or whatever. Like, I think it's crazy.
Well, I mean, a woman can only give birth once a year. A man can make 365 babies if he felt like it.
Yeah, nobody. Wait, Turner insured her legs. Oh, I remember her dancing the legs. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So what else? What else happened on this that we need to talk about? I know we talked about Adnan, Tiger Lily. So Boja came back. So they said that the producers were able to convince Boja to come back. So AKA, they went to him and said, we're not paying you.
Yeah.
And he didn't like that. So he came back to the tell-all because, I told y'all they used to pay you after your season concluded filming, and then the tell-all was a separate payment. They changed it. So now you don't get paid for your season until the tell-all airs.
Yeah.
So him walking off from the tell-all meant he was forfeiting any money that he was going to receive from the episodes and the tell-all. So it wasn't very difficult to convince him to bring his ass back to the camera because he didn't do this for free. Because clearly his girlfriend okayed this situation because there was going to be a big check at the end.
Yep.
So when they told him, so since you refuse to participate in the tell-all, you will not be receiving your money, he immediately sat back in that chair. He was like, let's finish this tell-all.
Exactly. I promised my girlfriend a paycheck, so I guess I have to do it.
Oh, wait. Coco Puff says, happy to hear his meeting went well. Yeah, remember he said he had a 10 p.m. meeting. Unemployed man had a 10 p.m. meeting. And then the meeting went well, obviously, because he was back. I think that he doesn't want to say anything too incriminating on the show because we know that he's always been scamming. He scammed Fanja, and she won't admit how much money she sent him, but I guarantee you there's money going back and forth. I know that that's what's going on. And he kept her around and he kept leading her on because we saw the text messages. He would text her, I love you, and I can't wait to see you. And then when she arrived, he acted like none of that happened. And she had to show the text messages to remind him, like, hey, liar, you definitely lured me over here. I wouldn't have flew across the world for a guy who never said I love you. Don't think I'm a crazy person.
Yeah. I don't know. That guy, he's such a, I mean, that's a whole nother situation. I like I said, I like Vanya, and I know she's going to be on Single Life, and I think that's wonderful, and I wish her the best. But this is the first time in the 90-day history that there have been one person with two different people same season.
Well, you know who else did that? Scott went to the DR to meet with Liz, and then Liz didn't want to be with.
Yes, yeah, you're right. But
he went. Love and Paradise. But this
also,
is you're right. For 90 Day Fiance, this is the first time. Scott was the first one who went there with one person and left with another. Scott was the first to do that.
But Scott went with an ex. This person went to meet with someone and then just randomly meets up with someone else.
Well, technically, if we're going to get technical, she said that in between Bojo and Yoshka, there was another guy that she went on a date with. So technically, it was 3 random people. Well, not random. Bojo was kind of random, though. It was 2 random people in Bojo. So technically, it was 3 guys. Because she said
also the guy that tried to sit down with her that was married.
Yeah, I kind of think that was a plan. I think that the producers did that. Yeah, but you're right. So technically, it would have been 4 guys total, which would have been insane. I think that guy was inserted when she didn't produce anybody on her own. Yeah. And I think that she did go on Tinder or whatever. They put her on and she started finding random people. I think that she had a little help, though, from casting with all the guys. I think that they put something out there and they said, make an appearance on a TV show, $500 appearance fee on a dating show. I think that she didn't just randomly show up. I mean, how hard would that be to just randomly show up in a country that you're not familiar with and able to find 3 different people to try to date you in a
Yeah.
2-week period. That feels like a hard task, right?
I mean, she's very familiar with Croatia, just like as Brian's so familiar with Brazil. You know, that's like their home away from home. So she's familiar with Croatia. So she's already got like the dating apps on her phone. You know, I mean, and she's beautiful. All she has to do is match with somebody and they're going to be like, hell yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, to convince somebody to go on a date with you that's going to be on TV probably is not as difficult as going on a free date. Because, you know, being on TV means you're going to get paid. So regardless of what happens, I think that it's easier for her to convince people. Remember when Ricky went to Colombia to meet Melissa and got rejected, so he met Jimena. Wait.
What?
Who is Ricky?
Who's
I don't... Yeah. Which show was that? I remember... So I know a Jimena, but she was with Mikey.
Mikey? Oh, Mikey.
Yeah, I remember Mikey and Jimena, but I don't remember a Ricky going to Colombia.
I don't remember a Ricky at all, or a Melissa.
I don't know, but see, now I have to do more research because maybe this has happened before.
Ricky and
but yeah, I don't know. And he went to Colombia. Oh, this was many seasons ago on the OG 90 Day Fiance. See, now I gotta look it up. Now I have to look it up because that's interesting. I don't remember. Hold on. So Ricky and Melissa.
I'm looking it up right now.
Okay, yeah, let's figure this out. Because now I gotta look it up. Because, you know, I'm like an encyclopedia for 90 Day. Yeah, so it's weird when I don't remember something. Just found the divorce info. This is from Patty. Tiger Lily definitely has 2 kids. Also, her real name is Mariko Leah Moss. Taylor is the children's last name. The children's name are Finn and Ro. Oh, okay.
Who's that?
So she definitely has...
Say that again?
She definitely has 2 kids. And her real name is Mariko Leigh Moss. So it's not... And, you know, she did say she changed her name to Tiger Lily because the person she was...
all of that. Remember when I sent it to you and I said that's her new name?
Okay, yeah. So this was... Okay, and then the 2 kids are Finn and Ro. Okay, so it's legit. She does have the 2 kids. I mean, I figured as much because she has... she was getting the child support from the dad, and it was like $11,000 or something. He is in Texas and supposed to move again to another Latin country. Oh my God! Everybody remembers this, Cara. They said Ricky. It was like 100 years ago.
Before the 90 days.
Okay.
It's before the 90 days, and it's okay. I don't know how I don't remember this because this is season 2. This is John and Rachel's season.
Oh yeah. What do they look like? I got to see what they look like.
I don't know what they look like. I just
okay. I'm gonna look. Hold on.
Okay.
This is interesting.
I got it, and now I remember.
Ricky. Okay, I do. I remember him. I don't remember her. Yeah, I remember.
Because she catfished him.
Wait, was that not really her in the photo?
So this says...
Ricky looks like the Spanish version of Asuelo. He does. Correct. He does. Supposedly, Melissa was a fake story, like, and Jimena was in the lineup for whatever reason they rolled out Melissa to start. Oh my gosh. Y'all are going to make me go back and rewatch the season because this sounds so interesting.
But I'm going to be
and I don't
rewatch it because of John and Rachel. It breaks my heart.
Yeah, Ray, you're the new 90 Day Encyclopedia. I am going to have to take a back seat because I didn't remember this story. So interesting. So apparently he went there to meet someone named Melissa and then ended up meeting someone named Jimena. Yeah, I'm going to go back and watch it. It's probably on streaming. I just want to see that storyline so I can
that's Rebecca and Zied. That's John and Rachel, like season 2.
Yeah, that was a huge season. Like, I remember everybody from that season, so this is really good.
But I don't remember them.
Shelly says he's pretty nice. I've chatted with him a few times. Cocoa Puff says I don't remember either. Melissa was like a mahogany type. Oh, so Pineapple says it was like a mahogany situation where she was sending fake, well, kind of fake photos, like filtered photos.
Okay.
And then it says, totally do not remember any of this. So Photo Mom says she doesn't remember any of this.
Okay. I'll have
She
to fast
made him
forward through
jump in the water knowing he can't swim. Okay, yeah, everybody remembers. Judy says she made him jump in the water knowing he could swim. Okay, so we're going to go back and check it out. You're right, Pineapple. She seemed like a catfish. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Also, isn't that... so it's John and Rachel and Paul and Karini, Rebecca and Zied. Wasn't that Darcy and Jesse too on season 2?
I think so, yeah. This was such a good season, too. It produced so many big 90-day cast members. Maybe that's why I don't remember, because it was a lot packed into the season. Yeah. I'm going to have to go back. I remember Ricky, though. I remember his face. I don't remember.
I don't recognize her at all.
Me neither. She looks like I'd never seen her before. This is interesting. Paul and Karini. Yeah, see, this was a groundbreaking season. This was what really started to rope us in. See, a lot of people got roped in around.
Okay, so there's this picture of like the introduction.
Melissa and Ricky. Yeah,
so that is obviously a catfish picture.
Yes, because in their intro, they're standing next to each other, and then on that, it's a picture of her. Yeah. So obviously, he never met her in person.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting. I got to go back and watch that.
Watch that again. I'll just fast forward through John and Rachel, so I don't get.
Oh, and Judy said that Tarek and Hazel were also on that season. Remember Tarek and Hazel? Yeah, I remember this season vividly. So yeah, I need to go back and re accommodate this story in my mind. Okay, so he started working out and lost a lot of weight and got really buff. Oh, Shelly knows. Okay. And apparently he lost a lot of weight too. All right, so that's it for this tell-all. Okay, so on part 3, we're going to get into the Vanja and Yoshko story. I think Ricky knew Tarek. Oh, so they knew each other. Okay, so there's like... So we're going to get into the Vanja and Yoshko story next week. Apparently he's going to admit to filming her without her knowledge. And a little spoiler, he said that he was not aware that that was illegal. So we're going to get into that next week. He said that, yes, he did it, but he was not aware that it was a crime. So we'll see that explanation and then how everybody reacts to that. Because, you know, that's kind of like Tiger Lily's favorite thing. I didn't know. That's like her defense to everything. I didn't know. I had no idea. And it's like, well, that's not an excuse. Just if your cop pulls you over and you say, I didn't know, they're still going to arrest you or give you a ticket. It doesn't matter if you knew or not. It's still a crime. That's not how it works. You can't just go to court and be like, oh, I didn't know you couldn't commit fraud. And they're like, oh, you didn't know? Go home. Everything's fine. It doesn't work that way. And Gina says it's illegal in Croatia as well as the U.S. So he's a bad dude anyway. But, okay, so we're going to get back with part 3 next week. We're going to come back tomorrow with Last Resort. Darcy posted the other day, can't wait to see you soon. So I'm assuming this is the episode that Darcy will be on, The Last Resort. Remember, she's been saying that she's going to be on The Last Resort. So she tweeted out the other day, can't wait to see you soon, on one of her posts. So I think we're going to get Darcy next week on The Last Resort. We're getting close to the end of the season, guys, for Last Resort. We're like inching our way out.
I feel like
it's been
on years.
Yeah, it's been a lot. And there was the photo of the girl that came out this week last week that they said is Josh's actual girlfriend.
I saw that.
If you guys have seen that already. The funny part is somebody sent me that photo 2 years ago of her, and they said that she worked with him at Preview Models. So I knew already, and I've been telling y'all this for a while, but it's finally out again, and Josh commented on it, and he's like, yeah, people say this or whatever. He's not saying it's true, but he's not saying it's not. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes too. So yeah, we'll be back tomorrow for the Last Resort recap. And make sure you're following Cara on all social media platforms at George. Cara's at Cara D76. And make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at George Mossey, GeorgeMossey.com. Anywhere you get your podcast, type in the George Mossey Show. And I'm going to go and watch Ricky's story real quick. And then I'll report back to you tomorrow. All right, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye. Bye.